Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see, I am playing the Tier 10 Imperial Japanese Navy destroyer Shimakaze, top tier in a mixed tier match with some 10s, a handful of 9s, and even a few Tier 8 ships. There's no CV, thank goodness. It's always nice when you're playing a destroyer. There is a little bit of radar threat. Got Puerto Rico and Alaska and Tallinn, all with radar. Enemy DDs, Asashio, Z-46, and Holland. Holland, of course, has a pretty fast reload. It's a quick, relatively nimble ship. Has incredibly fast torpedoes. Definite threat if I run face-to-face with that thing. Z-46 has pretty long-range hydro. Decent guns, not great, but a reasonable reload, and relatively hard-hitting torpedoes. Asashio torpedoes, my Shimakaze in any destroyer really, is immune to the Asashio torpedoes, but the Asashio has decent guns. And if you're up against what I would call a better destroyer player, they know that and they make good use of that. So we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. With no CV, I don't mind pushing in a little bit close to the cap. I want to position myself to avoid torpedoes and to be able to make an escape if one of the radar cruisers gets close enough to light me up. On our team, we've got the Mogador, who's I'm going to go ahead. I'm applauding the Mogador right now because the Mogador is he's pushing into the cap. He's basically a cruiser without a citadel, so his detection range isn't all that great. But this is a pretty good sized map, and the caps are pretty big. So I think he's figuring if I just stay on the north end of the cap, I should be okay. I'm trying to figure out if I can spot whatever's in here without giving away the fact that I'm in here with them. I think if I launch torpedoes here, probably no chance of hitting anything. But if I back in and just keep myself angled, you can see my torpedoes just came up. So if one of the enemy DDs is here, maybe I can detect them. Our Balti's asking for people to give me some cover fire in case I need it. Yeah, I'm not really doing much here, but keeping them from taking the cap. I've got torpedoes out on the conch, but probably he's going to continue on his trajectory and avoid my torpedoes entirely. So I just threw the one set. Now, whatever's closest to me has come out from behind the island. It's possible that it's just the Conqueror is now the closest thing to me. But I think there's probably something else there. With the lightning in the cap, yeah, you can see the torpedoes coming. I've got to try and avoid getting smacked by a torpedo here. Well, I tried. Fortunately for me, I think that was one of the Holland torpedoes. You can see what I think about everybody running from the A cap. So I'll just take it on myself to see what I can do over here. If I do nothing, they just push north, and then they have broadside on our Hindi and Pink Thunderer, Balti, and Iowa. And you can see our Iowa and our Baltimore are running. Balti I can understand. Iowa, yeah. So you can see the division of Iowa, Lion, and Neptune. Apparently they've decided if they're all in the same square or thereabouts, that's the best thing for them. Our Lightning takes out the Conqueror. Well done, Lightning. we look at the mini-map, you can see the Alaska and the Puerto Rico and the Talon are all over at Charlie. And we've got, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ships and a handful of squares over there. Holland takes out our Lightning. Mogador looks like he's being pushed out of the Charlie Cap, probably under radar from the Alaska. And we've still got all of those ships over there in basically 4 squares. Well, you know, in terms of the score, we're not doing too bad. The bad guys do have a cap that's giving them a little bit of an edge. But both teams have only lost 1 ship, and their Talon and Z-46 are both really banged up. So this is far from over. It just drives me nuts when I see an entire team basically move to one side and kind of bunch up like they have. I've got a Hindi on this side who will presumably be willing to help me. I'm going to take a look here and see what the Ohio's doing. Everybody's pushing forward. Looks like Hizen or Heisen, looks like he's slowing down, but we'll see. I mean, if he keeps pushing forward, he's in big trouble. And if I sink him right there, he'll probably block whatever torpedoes came from behind. Behind that batch. Okay, 3 in the first batch. There's 4 torpedo heads. Yeah, Ohio's going to be able to avoid whatever's coming because you can see all my torpedoes hitting the sunken Hizen. So let's see if I can. I don't know why the Hizen was surprised. I'm guessing Ohio's going to turn and head east, maybe even southeast. He doesn't want to eat torpedoes, and he seems to be a pretty cagey player, so he's probably going to be really tough to hit with torpedoes. But I'm going to head that way. So at this point, they're down 2 ships. We're only down 1. They still have a points lead because they've got caps. We lose our Cleveland to torpedoes from their Holland. We're still in this. This is still far from over, but they've got a lead, and you know, all other things being equal, they'll win in 15 minutes 23 seconds to our 1931. So got to do what I can here. Ohio is turning. Looks like he's turning east. So I'm going to hang on to the torps, get a little bit closer, and figure out what line he's going to be on and see if I can't land torps on him at that point. As I said, he's pretty cagey. He's a pretty cagey player. He knows I'm out here, and he is changing speed and direction pretty regularly in order to throw off torpedo strikes. Not sure I can get torpedoes around in time, and he can accelerate really quickly, so... Well, not really quickly, but... RGK takes care of the Talon. I'm pretty sure Ohio's going to change speed again, save 1 set. Or maybe he'll just turn and flatten out his line and head, you know, basically due east, which looks like maybe that's what he's going to do. So if he keeps going the way he's going, he's in big trouble. Yeah, he's turning. Which is fine, because that means he's got to show broadside to some of our guys who can get guns on him. Our Hindi is getting guns through this gap. Just in case he heads south trying to get through that gap. No, he's going to beach himself. Well, I don't have torps for 34 seconds, so there's not a whole lot I can do right now other than just make sure you keep him spotted. Hindy's pushing out, which is dangerous. You can see the Ohio's guns are headed that way. Thunderer's pushing into the cap from the other side. Meanwhile, our Mogador still in it. Look at our GK and our Lion. A7 and A8. What are you going to do? Ohio looks like he's going to make a run for that gap. He is burning. I'll focus on Thunderer. So I think our Hindy's going to finish off the Ohio. Mogami is in the cap. Ohio's about to go down. We now have a points lead, but we're going to lose our Hindy here. Can I land one? Nope. Mogador, fortunately, is moving away from me, but Thunderer is pushing right into me, so I'll just turn around. Try to position myself where I can get back into a torpedo posture. Thunderer is now heading pretty much straight at me. I'm guessing he's going to turn north, though. He's going to have to do that, or he's showing broadside to our Thunderer. Unless he just finishes off our Thunderer. I guess that's one way to take care of that problem. So the bad guys have the lead again, but now we have two caps. Got 19 seconds till torps are back up. Have to squeeze here next to this island and hope that the Thunderer keeps pushing forward. He might be a little overconfident knowing he's just got two cruisers to contend with there. Hang on to this for a second. He does look to be slowing down. Those back there just in case he reverses. 12 seconds and I'll have torpedoes to cover wherever he ends up. So despite my earlier comments, our team did pretty well over there, Charlie. It just took a little while. His guns are aimed the other way. Do I open up or not? Yeah, those torpedoes are going to fall well behind him, I think. I didn't do a very good job of torpedoing in this game. I mean, I landed 5, but those were basically all on one ship. I might get lucky here, and I do. And now, with the enemy team down to 3 ships, and we still have 6 ships, we've got 2 caps to their 1. I can move into the Bravo cap. There still is a Holland to contend with, so this is, I could still be taken out fairly easily as long as the Holland has a decent amount of hit points, and he appears to. I mean, we'll see, but Holland takes out our Lion. That's 5 ships to 3 ships. We do have a lead. We do have a cap advantage. Our Yamato was pushing south. Neptune's going to be in the cap with me. You can see the nearest ship is more or less the way I'm pointed right now, my guns anyway. Hoping Neptune will stay on the north side of this island and I'll run a little bit south. Now the Holland has to be in the Charlie Cap, right? I mean, it's being turned, and we can see the Alaska and the Hizen. And Yamato doesn't really have anywhere to turn, so I kind of expect he's going to eat a face full of torpedoes. The Holland's torpedoes reload really quickly. Okay, so we can see the Alaska there. He's almost dead. He does not want to get seen, so we may not see him again. There are the torpedoes on the Yamato. We'll see whether he can survive this. He did. Our Balti's probably detected there, and he doesn't really have much in the way of hit points, so he's liable to go down. Neptune's going to work on the Holland, and I'm just going to push straight in. Alaska finishes off our Yamato. We're up by about 80 points, more or less. We've definitely got the advantage, but that Balti, he's just, he's one shot away from being sunk. Now, I don't know whether I'll land any of these, and I'm at extreme range here, but I'm going to put them out there just to kind of cover this area. And I'm just going to keep pushing in, hoping that if Holland throws torpedoes this way, trying to catch the GK. Yeah, our Balti was just a question of time till somebody got him. You can see our Neptune's working on the Alaska. And I've got myself in a situation now where I've got to reverse in order to be able to head that way. Alaska goes down. Hizen's in big trouble here. So that tells me that the Holland is probably south of the Hizen. And probably running north. That'd be my guess. And he's probably going to torp the GK, so I got to tell him, hey, there's a DD there. So he can hydro. And now this is all over but shouting. Even if we lose our GK, we should be fine. We've got a cap advantage, a ship advantage. This was a fun game. Managed to land 8 torpedoes before it was all said and done. I don't think there's any way I'm going to catch the Holland, but I will head that way. His torpedoes will be back up in a minute, so he might get one more strike on the GK or me. But I don't think it's going to be enough. So, at this point, I will say thank you very much for joining me. Really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this commentary, please consider liking and subscribing. If you have any questions, be glad to read them and answer them in the comments below. And I'll see you next time.
勝利は目前です。